What's going on, and welcome back. I don't know if you remember, I mentioned this like probably a couple years ago or so, that I really enjoy painting miniatures for tabletop gaming. I never like really played tabletop games, right? But I enjoy painting the miniatures because it was relaxing to me, and that's what I like doing. I remember a while back I had this little space in my bedroom where I'd sit down and I'd paint miniatures and I'd put music on, and it was very relaxing for me. Well, I think it was, I want to say it was like maybe 2 years ago or so. Might have been 3, who knows. But my buddy Stetson, who I mentioned a lot on this channel, for my birthday, he got me some paints, and he went to a store in Midland, Texas called Warhammer, and he picked up this little army for me called Flesh Eater Quartz, and it's pretty neat. He's like, he thought, you know, I'd like this because it looks cool, right? Like, it's got this guy right here, and it's 14 miniatures, and it's got this big bat type of dragon looking thing called the Terrorgeist. And he thought, oh, I'll get this for him and he'll enjoy it and paint it. I was like, sweet, dude, that was awesome. And like a few months later, we went back to Warhammer, and I picked this up called the Sigmarite Mausoleum. And I think I've shown this before, like I said a couple of years ago when I was talking about them. And all this is just terrain, and it looks pretty cool because it looks like, you know, if you set this up correctly and paint it correctly, it would look like, you know, a really cool looking graveyard setting, right? And I thought that would be perfect to go with these guys, because they're like vampire looking things almost. Now, I never got to painting them because I mean, I wanted to, but at the time I didn't have space at my old house. I wanted to have a spot where I could set up a desk and I was gonna buy like these racks for my paints, my miniature paints, and set them up and have like a whole space for like dedicated for painting miniatures. I did open this thing up, right? It was sealed a while back, and I opened it up because, like I said, I thought about painting them, but I never did. They're still, you know, brand new on these little, I don't know, I forgot what these are called. They're like, I call them little racks, right? But all of them are still like brand new. I haven't even popped them off this thing yet. And I was like, one of these days I'll get to it and I'll start painting. And then, dude, check this out. So, and then I realized, see, my eyesight's going, it's kind of bad. I have really bad eyesight. I have to wear glasses sometimes. But I don't know if you can see these right here. I'm pointing my finger. These are the heads to these guys. The heads, they're tiny. They're like this big. So I went out, I bought like a magnifying glass that I can hook up to like to a table with lights, right? In case when I started painting these things, so I could see what the hell I'm doing, because they're so tiny, right? So I never got around to it. Never got around to painting them. And I was looking up like tutorials to like see what was the best way, or a cool like way to paint like the mausoleums. So I wanted this thing to look really nice, right? When I do something up like this, when I paint or whatever, I want it to look nice, and I want it to look, I'm not a professional at painting at all, but I do my very best to make it look like a professional painted it, right? I had some models that I painted. One was Supergirl, one was Catwoman, and they came out looking, I don't, you know, I normally wouldn't pat myself in the back, but damn, they came out looking badass. And then they broke. they broke. They fell on the floor or something. I don't know what happened. But you know, I wanted it to look like, I was going to paint it to look like the picture. Let me see if I can show you without the glare or whatever. But I wanted it to look like this. I was like, okay, I'm going to paint it up. As you can tell, I haven't even busted the seal on this thing. It's still sealed. And like I said, I was looking up tutorials or whatever, and I just never got around to it. Right? So last year, or maybe it was this year, at the beginning of this year sometime, my buddy James came over. And James, I mention him all the time too, sometimes, where I got my game collection from. He came by the house, and for whatever reason, we were talking Warhammer. And I was like, oh, dude, let me show you something, James. So I showed him this, and he's like, oh, that's awesome. He's like, you know what? I'm going to get, that's your army? I was like, that's not my army per se. It's just some miniatures that Stetson bought me. I'm going to set these up right here. I go, it's not really my army or whatever. These are just some miniatures that Stetson bought me, so I can paint them. But in his head, that's my army. That was my army, right? It's like, whatever. He's like, well, I'm going to get me an army, and we can start playing Warhammer. It's like, fine, that's cool, man. I've never played Warhammer before. I've never really played like tabletop gaming before, like tabletop games. Back in the day, we used to play Dungeons and Dragons, me and my cousins. But we never used miniatures or nothing like that. We never even went by the rules. We made up our own rules. Because that's what tabletop gaming is, man. You make up your own rules. There's some people out there that you need to follow the rules. And you need to do this, this, and that. Dude, just have fun, right? Just have fun. So, this past Monday, James came over by the house. And he goes, oh, check this out. He goes, I got you something for your birthday, which was in September, but he goes, it just barely showed up today. He goes, it got lost in the mail, and they sent me another one. And it's Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Anyways, he got me Warhammer Age of, he got me this book. It's Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Death Battle Tome, Flesh Eater Quartz. And this is a cool book, dude. This is like, he's like, I got you a book for your army. I was like, okay. He goes, what this is, he goes, it's not like the rules or anything. All it is like, it gives like, dude, this book is so cool. He goes, it gives the lore of like I guess the different factions or whatever, and like a backstory of the Flesh Eater Quartz. And in the back of the book here, I'll show you. It shows you like the different, like I said, like the different. I call them factions. I don't know if that's what that's like the correct name, but back here somewhere I saw it last night or the other night. It gives you like kind of like a tutorial on how to paint your miniatures, right? It gives you like different like ways to paint your miniatures and this and that, and it's pretty neat. this book was pretty neat. I was like, okay, cool, man. I go, you know what I'll do is I'll use this and I'll start painting these guys, right? So we're sitting there and we're watching Monday Night Football, and he gets on his phone, and I don't know what he was looking for or what he was searching for, but he was like, dude, you're not gonna believe this. I was like, what? What's up, man? Because when my buddy Stetson bought this for me, this was $90. He paid $90 for this thing. He goes, this set that you have right here, it's worth $200. I was like, what? He's like, dude, look. He showed it to me. He said this set is worth $200 now. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was like, why? He goes, because they're out of print and they're not making this particular set anymore. They still make the Army, the Flesh Eater Quartz, but this particular set right here, they're out of print and they're not making it anymore, and they're hard to find, and now they're worth like $200. I was like, you got to be shitting me. He's like, no. I was like, holy smokes, dude. And then he started looking this up. I paid $70 for this thing a couple years back or whatever, and this mausoleum is worth $350 now. I was like, there's no way. He's like, yeah. He goes, I'm telling you, he's like, they're out of print and they're not making this particular model anymore, and they're hard to find, and now this is worth $350. I was like, holy smokes, dude. I was like, now there's no way I'm painting these. No way, no how. And I know people are probably out there, they're like, paint them and use them. That's what they're for. Fuck you. I'm not painting these. These are worth way too much money. Now there's a channel on YouTube that I watch called I think it's called Squidmar Miniatures. Two guys, man, awesome, amazing painters, amazing freaking painters, and it's true. They have like I've seen where they bought in like miniature sets worth like over $1,000 because they went out of print and they don't make them anymore, and they're hard to find. And they bought them and they painted them up like armies or whatever, and they look badass. I was like, oh my god, dude. So I was like, it's whatever, man. I'm like, thanks for the book, but I'm not painting these anymore. Now they still sell these. Like I said, they still sell the Flesh Eater Quartz, like the ones that are here in this book. But this particular set, these two particular sets right here, they're out of print. They're not making them anymore. So I told them, you know what? I'm just gonna have to buy new stuff. I'm gonna have to buy brand new Flesh Eater Quartz Army, and I bought this for like terrain, right? So I'm just gonna have to buy some more terrain, because I am not gonna open this one's already been opened, but you know what I mean. I'm not gonna paint them. And I was like, these are never gonna get used. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hold on to these for a while, and maybe they'll go up in price. And if they do, maybe I'll sell them and use that money that I get from these two boxes to buy more Warhammer stuff. So that's kind of like where I'm at right now with like miniature painting too, because I was like, oh, I'm fixing to get back into it, because once he gave me this book right here, I was like, dude, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to get back into painting, and we're going to play some Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And no, that's not going to happen anymore. Not right now anyways. Now I'm going to have to buy all brand new stuff to paint them. I will paint eventually, and I'll show you the miniatures that I painted. I did put a video out, man, it was years ago, where I had got a miniature and I painted it on camera, and dude, it came out pretty badass looking. But yeah, man, I can't believe that this stuff is worth this much. Holy smokes, my camera's fixing to die, dude. I gotta get out of here. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.